All right, I want to talk about something important today. I guess I'm diving right in. In case you don't know, I'm Caryn Gillen. I'm the host of this podcast called Coach Business. We talk about all the things related to coaching, business, and coaching business. Today, in particular, before I dive in, I want you to know that I have started a membership community for coaches who want to go from where they are to consistent 5K months in revenue. If you want to join, I'm offering a super amazing bonus between Black Friday and Cyber Monday. So stick around and make sure you're on the list and paying attention for all that stuff. It's going to be really good and really fun. The reason I have the episode queued up I have for you today is also because I started that membership at the start of November, and it's already taught me so much. I am thrilled to be in the seat of the leader of that group. And there's something I need to tell you. And if you're in the group, this is for you. And if you are considering the membership, this is for you. And if you will never even pay me $1 to be your coach, this is also for you. So I want you to listen up. If you have a business that you want to generate revenue with, we will always, always, always be running multiple tracks at once as entrepreneurs, as solopreneurs earlier on in our businesses. And for really quite a while, I would say up until about the 200K mark. We'll put the needle there. It can shift around depending on your business model and whether you have more money or more time. But barring that, around 200K, this would shift. But I really specialize in helping people build businesses up to about that revenue mark before they decide this is where I want to be. I want to have this kind of sustainable model, a lifestyle business, something that affords me a good salary and is my job. Or people then from that place can go on and think about scaling. And in that case, oftentimes you want to go work with someone who is really interested in that and has done that successfully and focuses on that. So I'm very interested in coaches getting to that 200K mark, even really 350, if they want to be funding their retirements beautifully, if they want to be making a lovely salary to support their families and to really impact their communities, which is what's really important to me, and actually more important today than probably ever. I am very interested in helping people create successful, sustainable, small businesses that support their families, themselves, and their communities, because we know that small business is really what supports our country. And especially when we get more money in the hands of women, good things happen on the community level. So I'm very interested in helping you do that. Okay. So the two lanes you're always, always running are going to be this lane of administration. It's you doing the things that just are done in business. And if you have a coaching practice like I do, and most of my clients do, what that looks like is you're going to be emailing. You're going to have some sort of email that goes out. That's not you generating revenue. That's you nurturing. That's you just showing up and doing the work of holding the space for your community, for the people who follow you, who may want to work with you, or who might just want to learn from you and hang out. You will be doing, for example, with me, I have a podcast. This isn't me going out there and thinking, I'm going to put out one podcast episode and get a client. That's not how this works. I want to put out a podcast episode and continue to nurture the people who are around me, who are listening to me, who look to me for information, who trust me. It is a privilege to be able to talk to you, right to you in your car, in your earbuds, wherever you're listening to this, right? That's a privilege for me. And it's my business's job to show up and do the work of making my business happen by doing a podcast every week. And I also send an email every week. And I have hired support to send another email every week with a wrap up of this podcast so that more people can listen. I don't do those things because I think when I send newsletters, I will make money, because that's not really how it works. Can it help? Yes. Growing your newsletter list, can you send sales emails? Yes, you can. But doing your invoicing, showing up and making sure your website works, putting your website out there for the first time, getting your email list going or your podcast going or your YouTube channel, whatever that regular nurturing force is that you decide to create and offer to your market, that is just your job. That's not you going out there and generating new revenue. That's just you supporting the business that you have. And so much of the time when we get started, we're like, great, I got my website out. Oh, now the people can find me. Well, they don't find us, right? Because there's a lot of life coaches on the internet. And that's okay. That doesn't mean there's too many of us. Like, please, there is still so much room for great life coaching. So be sure that you're willing to do the work to be great. We want you in this with us. So there's this other track. And this is the track of the marketing and sales. It's not you nurturing your audience and taking care of your business and just showing up for business. This is the track of generating relationships, new individuals who know who you are and what you do. It's doing things so that new people who didn't know you existed before or didn't know what you did before know what you do and who you are and how you help. So you're always running these two races at the same exact time. And we have to figure out how to do that in a way that works for us. That's on us to figure out. Like, there's no, oh, I'm going to do everything to the point where it's done enough to then generate revenue for the rest of the year. These things are always happening simultaneously. If you have more money than time, you can hire more of it out. But if you have more time than money, chances are you're the one doing it or nobody's doing it, and you're feeling the effects of that, meaning you're not getting new clients. So I just want to make sure we're all well aware that if we take ourselves off of the track of finding new people to fall in love with us and our content and making sure that we're meeting new people and they're finding our freebies or whatever, then that's not happening. It's basically like you let your business go dormant if you don't do that stuff. If you're over on the other track and you're getting your website ready and you're editing it and making it beautiful and doing all the things that can feel really nice and do actually need to be done, not beautiful, but like it's good to have a website. Think about it as like that 3-fold pamphlet at your doctor's office. That's just your website sitting on the wall. People need to be able to find it. Doesn't have to be more than that. It can just be like, here's the basics. Here's how to contact me. Here's a freebie you can get. But if you take yourself out of the get more eyeballs, meet more people, be more known, get my word out to new humans game, business goes dormant. It can look like we're hiding. It can look like we're closed. It can feel like we're working our butts off, which is where it gets confusing. If I am consistently working really hard on my email and updating my website and getting my podcast out, but I'm never doing anything to make sure that people see it, hear it, find it, and love it, then it might as well not exist. Hard truth. So here's the deal. You are welcome to spend as much time as you want behind the scenes of your business, getting just that admin stuff figured out and taken care of. But you have to also agree to the fact that that means revenue generation will be non-existent to very sparse. And is that okay with you? And I want to really emphasize the fact that we are always at choice in how we do this part. It is okay if you have a job that you're working and you want to get all this stuff lined up before you start working to get clients, because you know you only have 6 hours a week to work with and you want it all prepared so that you can just coach after that. Great. Then you get it all dialed in, expect no clients to come in. When you're ready, you open those doors, you start running track 2. And you start marketing and you start putting yourself out there and getting known. You start going for podcast interviews. You start doing Instagram lives with your coach besties, whatever. That's okay. But for those of us who are like, okay, I need to be making money now and I need to be in business now, then we have to do these two things at once all the time. You have to be thinking about, okay, how much energy am I putting into just running my business, just staying out there so that the people who have seen me and come in and want to learn with me, for me, know that I'm here still and that I'm working for them and that I have things to share and they should stay tuned, right? That's great. I also need to be thinking through, okay, I've got 393 people on my list. That's amazing. That means my list has about 9 to 10 clients on it. Time to double your list size. What would I do to go from almost 400 to, let's say, 800? What would I do to double my list? And you always have to have one of those building things going. Something that is pushing you, inviting you, forcing you to lean into, growing your reach, your impact, your market, your numbers, the people who know you. We always need to be bringing new people into our world. It's just how business works, right? We've heard the online business numbers. If you have this many people, you can expect 1 to 3% return, blah, blah, blah. It's all, in some ways, when you're starting out and when you're in your first sales and all that stuff, none of those markers actually make any sense because you have so much low-hanging fruit around you to harvest. And I'm really good at helping you do that. But as we grow, after we make that first $10,000, then where does the next $10,000 come from? And that's when we have to keep making sure that there are new people out there who know we can help them. Okay. So I'm putting together a training inside of my membership community all about this. And I'm going to give everyone a tool to decide, like, what am I doing in track 1 and what am I doing in that revenue generation track? What am I committing to? And how am I going to do that this year in a way that doesn't crush me as a solopreneur? Because we have limited time and we have limited energy and we have limited money. And we need to figure out, based on the energy resources that we have, what can we do? Where can we shine? Where can we have an impact on our bottom line and our market? And I want you to know what you're doing and why you're doing it, because you can define that. And then when you put the bounds of that understanding on what it is you're doing and trying to do in any given moment, you get to see, does this work for me? And if it doesn't, we're learning. And if it does, we're also learning. But the other thing you get to stop doing is being overwhelmed by the fact that in that second lane, you could choose any number of 77 different things. And you could think that I have to do them all at once, but you don't. But how do you know which one is the right one for you next? That's where some coaching can help. That's where the bonuses that are going to be live for my Black Friday bonus pack for the membership are going to really, really help you and help me help you. So it's kind of a bonus for both of us. Okay, so I just want you to know there's no getting out of this. If you've been behind the scenes, had the curtains closed on your business, and you've just been working to get all the behind the scenes stuff done, don't expect any revenue to come in. If it does, fantastic. Know how it happened, see if that's repeatable, keep doing it. But if you've been out there and you've been doing all the things at once and it seems like nothing's working, you're probably right, and I can help you figure it out. Come into the membership and we'll do it. Make sure you join Black Friday through Cyber Monday. It's coming up next week. If you're on the email list, I will give you all of the information. It will come straight to you. If you're not, get on the list. I'll put the link to do that in the show notes. Just remember, you have enough to do this your way. I know it. I've seen it. I've seen it hundreds of times. We all have the way we can do it. It's not going to look the same as that person you met in coach training. It's not going to look the same as that 7-figure business you keep comparing yourself to, because you don't have what they have and you don't need it. And that's okay. And if you want to be there someday, you absolutely can be, but there's a lot of steps between here and there. And I really am focused on helping you get through those first few steps that are going to define a lot about where you're going. There's no skipping the fundamentals. You have to start there. I've seen people skip them and just rely only on sales and completely burn out and go from making multiple six figures to making really not much of anything because they couldn't withstand the huge growth because they didn't have the fundamentals in place and they actually didn't know what was happening. So sales is one skill in business, but it isn't everything. And it can get you out of some problems, but not forever. Our businesses will catch up with us. And you want to be a well-rounded business owner. You want to be comfortable in business, to know that you know how to make money again and again and in different ways and in different markets because you're comfortable in business. You get it. You have the fundamentals on board. You can shoot layups with your right hand or your left hand, right? That's what we want. That's what I want for you. I want you to feel like you know what's happening. It's not a mystery to you. All right. Don't forget to get out there and be tracking the thing you're doing to generate revenue. It has to happen. If you don't do it, no one will. All right, so get on my list. Make sure you're watching for the Black Friday bonuses that you definitely want. It's going to be good and it's going to be fun. All right, thank you for being here. Make sure you're subscribed and rate and review the podcast. It really helps.